harder than anybody I know. You judged the Booker Prize this year.
The Booker Prize.
You read how many books?
I read 151 books in 204 days last year.
That's absurd.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And meanwhile, you also write columns and edited this book.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know how you do this, how you get so much done, because I'm angry about it. I'm okay, but I'm angry. And just sort of your process. I mean, because I feel like when I read it that I feel like you are loving the job of being a writer. And
yes,
I know so many people who are great at it who hate it.
No, I do love it. It's my favourite bit.
But I think your thrill is what I'm reading on the pages.
Good. I always hope I'll be too cool for that to show. Not yet.
No.
That hasn't happened.
No.
I guess, well, yeah, reading quite so many books in quite such a short time was brutal at times. Yeah. As I would imagine you would remember. Just like, hello, it's nice to see you.
It was
I can
brutal,
talk for an hour.
Just knowing you.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I knew things had got really bad, because I always sleep quite badly anyway, but so do you. So I always feel like, we bond over this. And
yes.
Then, there were moments last summer when I was reading, a book a day for 100 days, the sort of second half of it. And I thought it would get easier, and it just never did. And I would wake up at sort of 5:30 in the morning and know that it would be 2 hours before I could get back to sleep, and know that I couldn't afford that time.
Right.
And so I would get up really happily because I could get in a good 3 hours of reading time, and then I'd have a power nap around lunchtime, and that would only be 20 minutes. So my net gain was like, I've turned into an actual lunatic. I don't know how this happened. And yes. So when that finished, that was all right. It was sort of okay, and that was over. But generally,
but you were writing, but just like columns.
I was writing columns,
right.
And those I tend to do in the morning.
When you're doing something like this,
the afternoon.
It's the afternoon.
Yeah, I can't flip from a column to a novel in the same day, because I find it really hard to go from my voice to someone else's voice.
Right.
And I could do it when I was writing non-fiction, but I just couldn't do it with fiction. And then. Yeah, the afternoons is my time. I have to, do admin and boring stuff in the morning, have lunch, and then Diet Coke, vegetarian jelly bears, such a brilliant thing. But I have to have half a bag at a time, because otherwise I just eat until they're gone. And that's my thing. Sugar, caffeine, a little bit of weeping.
I wish I could say I didn't need those three things, sugar, caffeine, and weeping to write, but let's face it.
Them.
You need your reward. You need your reward system. I can't write, if I'm writing prose or a story or something, and I can't even read books.
Really?
Because I just start to adapt their voice instantly.
Do you? Even if you don't like the book? You don't care.
Well, if I don't like the book, I generally stop.
Yep.
But yeah,
of course, they don't pay you to read books. You can just put them down.
Yeah, I can stop anytime.
Jeez, what's that
like? I don't
like?
have a Booker problem like you have. But no, how do you, especially when you've got, I mean, maybe if you have enough, you have a bigger blender, and it doesn't matter. But I find whenever I read, if I'm into anything, then I start typing. I'm like, oh look, I'm like that guy Junior. You don't have, I mean.
No, they're in my life for too short an amount of time. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing. If you read a book in 2 or 3 hours, I'm not going to lie to you. There were times when I'd read a book, and 2 weeks later, I went into a meeting about the book, and I had no recollection of reading the book. And I would look at my notes, and I'd have 2 pages of notes on it. So I definitely read it, and there were notes, and they proved it. But I couldn't remember the cover. I couldn't remember the title. Mm-hmm. I could barely remember the plot. Only my notes brought it back to me. And they just aren't in your life for that long.
You're like a rock star with groupies.
Yes, I'm like a rock star with groupies, but with books.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Wait, that makes me sound just a little lame.
No, what are you talking about? I think that makes you sound super cool.
Yay.
You're like, yeah, you're a good book, but I got to be free.
Yeah, I've got a book in every city.